The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomas Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I'm Luis, your host, and today we have a very, very special guest from Houston, Texas. She's a good realtor, and she's one of the top realtors in Houston at the moment. So she has done more than 100 transactions, and she's doing an average 20 transactions per year. So that's a lot. She's going to let us know about her story and how she has achieved this amount of experience. How are you today, Leticia?
I'm doing very well, Luis. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, Leticia. So, can we start talking about your background? How did you get into this market? Your story?
Yeah, absolutely. We all have a story, and mine started very long time ago, about 28 years or so. I was a first-time home buyer and didn't get treated very nicely by my mortgage lender, unfortunately. So I actually started my career mortgage lending, answering
Okay.
telephones. Yep, believe it or not, answering telephones, but learned quickly. And I moved up quickly into an assistant position. And then the following year, I became a loan officer, where I have a passion to help first-time home buyers and make sure that those buyers didn't have the same experience that I did my first go around, right? So I had a very successful career as a loan officer. I was a top producer.
Oh,
I moved into a corporate role where I finally got my dream job, air quotes, right? Where I
yeah.
felt like I wanted to do more for my community. And then transitioned into real estate a little over five and a half or so years ago. And I have been loving my journey ever since then. And I bring my origination experience into my real estate business. So I do have a knowledge that some newer agents don't have coming into the business.
Yeah. You already have the knowledge. That's very nice. And can you share a memorable success story from your real estate career that is very significant impacting your career?
As far as a significant transaction, I would say most memorable, where I was able to help a family that wanted to sell their home because they wanted to provide a better environment for their two young boys. And at the time, it was a seller's market. And I told them, I'm going to sell your house quickly. Your challenge is going to be then finding the next one. So
Okay.
it took us a while to find him that perfect house, but we finally did. And once we found him that perfect house, it was such a beautiful memory because what happened is that I'm also a part of an organization called NAREP, which
Okay.
stands for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. I'm actually a national coach for them, one of about 12 across the country. And so they decided every year we produce a state of Hispanic homeownership report. We come up with all the statistics as far as, what's happening in the home buying process, what states are better, what cities are doing better, things like that. It just so happened
Wow.
I know it's a really, really wonderful organization. I'd be more than happy to tell you a little bit more about it later. But they produce that report every year. And so that year, what they decided to do, instead of just putting statistics in a book, they wanted to put faces to those statistics. And it just so happened that they were focusing on Houston, and they chose 3 realtors from the city. I was one of them. And I got to highlight 2 of my families. Well, one of those families is the family that I was telling you about. And I hadn't seen the home until we went to do the photo shoot in their home.
Okay.
And I asked their son, hey, how do you like your new house? And he was like, it's okay. I said, well, hey, how do you like your new room? And he was like, it's okay. And I'm thinking in my head, what else am I going to ask this child? So I thought about it. I said, well, hey, how do you like your new school? Luis, his eyes lit up. He was like, oh my God, I love my school so much. All the kids are like me. They want to learn. They want to progress. And the reason why I get goosebumps every time I tell this story is that I was able to share this story on the national stage and tell everyone in that ballroom of about 2,000 people, if not more, that this is what we do. This is why we do what we do, to help families get their children into better school systems so that they can
Exactly.
progress. And it's about creating generational wealth. And these parents are well on their way to creating generational wealth for their kids. So that was one of the stories that just really
Wow.
stands out.
This is beautiful because you're telling me that a realtor is, defining the career or the where is this child going in his life, right? Where is he
Correct.
going?
Correct.
So that is also beautiful because this is the first time I heard that. This is the first time
Wow.
I listened to this, and it is true. You are actually defining the future of this family as well.
Absolutely. And they say, let the, come over, we'll have some coffee. They're always texting me when they have questions about things that they're referring me their family as well. And so it's having that connection with your clients and really having them trust you and building that trust and then creating that to where you can then build your referral business from there.
Awesome, awesome. That's why you're so successful, Letty.
It's had its peaks and valleys. Don't get me wrong. There's a few tough months here and there, but it's about getting back on your feet and finding that stability again.
All right, all right. And what are the most important factors you consider when pricing a property for sale?
Well, obviously, I do run what we call a comparative market analysis, right? Everyone knows the CMA, and I do tell the potential client, I will run the comparative market analysis based on what we all do, most recent sales over the last 6 months. However, in order for me to really get you a better range, because we as agents, we never want to give them a number, we want to give them a range. I say I would really love to take a look at your home. I would love to preview the home. I'd like to personally see it, and that way I can then run a better CMA for you, because perhaps maybe your property is in a much better condition than some of the most recent sales, and maybe we can get you a little bit more top dollar, or unfortunately vice versa, maybe your property is not quite to where the other comparables were. So perhaps I can then guide you and make some recommendations on what you might be able to do to get top dollar for your house.
Okay, okay, very nice. And what trends or changes are in Houston, in the real estate Houston market, have you found more surprising or impactful recently?
Well, obviously, Houston, I'm a rare commodity, by the way. I am a native Houstonian, born and raised. And so I'm a rare commodity because most people that live in Houston, they transplant themselves into Houston. So jobs, opportunity bring them to Houston. So Houston I'm very proud of my city. So we are obviously, space city, right? Because mission control, NASA's mission control is here in Houston. We're oil and gas city, so we have a lot of oil and gas companies here in Houston, and we also have the number one medical center in the entire world. So
Wow.
yes, and so when you factor in all of those things, so many people are coming into Houston, especially because of the affordability here in Houston. A $500,000 house in Houston is going to buy you a pretty nice house in comparison to 500,000 in California.
Or
So
in New York, yeah.
or in New York. Absolutely. So people are starting to understand they can get more bang for their buck. Here in Houston, we also have a lot of investors, people that have money from California, Florida, New York, other states, and even some people outside of the U.S. that either want to have a second home. I've starting to build my referral connections in Mexico. I am bilingual in Spanish. And so I do have some investors that are developers, not only here here in the U.S., but they also have developments in Mexico as well. So I'm trying to bridge that gap because one of my goals is to be an international agent, where I do want to be able to sell
Wow.
properties in Mexico as well.
Wow, wow, wow. So that's amazing. I didn't know that, but what advice would you give to somebody looking to buy their first home, not only in Houston, but also in Mexico, let's say?
So it just depends on what type of buyer is, right? So if it's a true first time home buyer looking to purchase their first home to build that generational wealth, the best advice I could give them would be obviously to maintain your credit, build your credit, save your money, make sure that I connect them with the right mortgage lender to make sure they're going to get the best possible financing. There's a lot of banks out there that are offering, either down payment assistance, or they're helping with grants, things
Okay.
like that. There's some portfolio products that can maybe get them in with zero down, with maybe no mortgage insurance. So that would be the advice to a true first-time home buyer here in Houston. Now, when it comes to a first-time home buyer that's maybe looking to invest their first home here in Houston, that's where me being a native Houstonian and having been not only in the lending industry, but now in the real estate industry, I know my city pretty well. And so I have had it happen to where I have people from California or other states, and we literally take a weekend. So before we actually zone in on some properties, I say, here is what your budget, right? So for example, number one, they need to have a pre-approval. No matter what, no matter if you're a true first-time home buyer or a first-time investor, you must have a pre-approval. Coming from a lending background, that is a must. Once they have that pre-approval, we know what the budget is, right? So for example, now moving into the first-time investor, I let them know, okay, here's your budget. And let's say it's 300,000. This is what 300,000 will buy you in this suburb, this suburb, this suburb, this suburb. I have to run a lot of comparative market analysis when it comes to rental. And so it is a tedious process, but I do understand that it is a very important investment. Your first time investment property is very crucial to make sure you get into the right home. Now, when it comes to purchasing your first investment in Mexico, you really have to ask yourself, what's your favorite place, right? So for some people, it could be Cabo. For some people, it could be the Cancun. I personally love the Tulum area, which is booming right now. Booming. Yeah. Tulum is booming. So you have to ask.
Expensive.
It's very expensive, very, very expensive. And so finding out what your budget is, back in the day, people used to be able to buy maybe a nice condo for maybe 100,000. Now, and you're looking almost about the same price as you would a home here in Houston. So, you have to ask yourself, is it going to be worth it enough for you to have that second home? Or in most cases, they're going to ask themselves, can I rent this out when I'm not occupying the property on my personal vacation time? So it's going to be really important to connect with the right developer, connect with the right salesperson with that developer, and build that relationship. So when I do take those clients to visit those homes, that could be their potential first-time investment in Mexico, it's going to be important that I understand why they're doing it.
Wow. You know a lot about real estate, really. Let's go to a funny question. What do you enjoy most about working in the Houston real estate market and Mexico?
What I enjoy most is obviously meeting new people. I love talking with people, meeting people from not only different cities, but different countries. Houston is a very diverse city. We have so many people from so many different countries. And so I love being able to connect and hear stories and understand that, have a different perspective, because my perspective, being a native Houstonian, is going to be different. I'm what we call Tex-Mex, right? I was born here in the US, but I'm Tex-Mex because my family, my heritage is from Mexico. So it's nice when I hear people from other parts of the world, and try to put my life, kind of into their perspective and try to see it from their eyes instead of mine.
Wow, that's beautiful. So you really enjoy your career, Leticia?
Yes, actually, hashtag love what you do. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Just so you know, Leticia, some of our audience are also realtors who are trying to get into the real estate market and they don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to these new realtors who are trying to be successful like you?
That's a great question. And I get that question asked a lot, by the way. The best advice I can give to them is, real estate is simple, but it's not easy. So you need to have a really thick skin. You need to understand, are you wanting to go into this full-time versus part-time? If you are looking to go into it full-time, you need to have money saved, or in my case, I was very blessed, or have a partner, someone that's going to basically help with the finances while you build your real estate career, because it does take some time. It can take, especially in the market that we are now with all the settlement changes with NAR, it could take 6 or so months to really build your business. So you need to make sure that you have enough money, because what ends up happening, unfortunately, people think, oh, I'm going to get into real estate and I'm going to make all this money right away. and they start to realize that it's not as easy as they thought. So then they start depleting some of their funds, and then they get discouraged, and then they need to go back to their full-time job. So really be ready financially, whether it's saving your own money or having a partner that is going to be there with you to help you as you build your business. And if you're
Okay.
looking, yeah, and then the other option would be if you're looking to do it, part-time as what we call a dual career agent in Keller Williams, right? So make sure that you're going to have to really live by your calendar, because if you're keeping your 9 to 5, you're really going to have to focus on your real estate in the evenings and on the weekends. So you're going to have to really be great at time management and maximizing all those the little time that you have into making sure that you find the right opportunities. And whether you go full-time or part-time, it all starts with your sphere of influence, the people that know you, they love you, they trust you. That's where you're going to start. And just letting everybody that you know, hey, I am embarking on real estate. Don't be that what we call undercover agent. You need to let everyone know what it is that you're doing.
Okay, okay, very nice, very nice. Thank you for responding. So before we leave, can you let us know about your next step? I mean, what is the next step for your career for the rest of this year and 2025?
Well, that's a great question. Those peaks and valleys that I mentioned earlier, right now, in total transparency, because that's just how I am. I'm in a bit of a dip right now, so I'm feeling the stress that my fellow agents are. I've been through the cycles in the last 5 or 5.5 or so years, and so right now it's to stay laser focused. It's to stay true. It's to keep maintaining those contacts with my sphere, and providing the best customer service that I can, and finish out the year strong. The business planning for 2025 is already on the horizon, because September's already here. So we
Yeah.
really start the business plan around October, November. And so really the game plan is to, again, stay laser focused. I need to expand on my horizons. I know we talked about this earlier, but I know I have some mentors and coaches wanting me to expand into really stepping up my game when it comes to social media, potentially having my own podcast, and
Nice.
really, yeah, and so really just expanding my reach, if you would, in order for me to take my business to the next level. So what those goals are, they're pretty big. It may not happen in 2025, but it's pretty much the long-term goals is for me to consistently hit 36 to 48 transactions a year.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right. I do. That's the goal, right? I do want to eventually get my broker's license, not to open up my own brokerage, just so I sort of consider it like my MBA in real estate. And so I definitely want to obtain my broker license. And also I do have, my goal is to be a NAREP top 250 agent. And so by
Okay.
me if I can hit that 36 to 48 goal, I should, God willing, hit the NARP top 250 list. I think maybe 2025 might be a bit of aggressive goal, but 2026 and beyond, that is one of the goals that I have as well.
Wow, you have a lot of goals.
Yes, I know, I do.
And it's still September.
I know. Well, those are sort of long-term goals. Those are long-term goals, right?
Yeah.
Right now, the short-term goal is to just make it through the next few months, just like the rest of us who are in real estate, and really just going through the ebbs and flows of the changes that we have right now.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Leticia, is there something else you would like to share to your audience? Anything about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, on the fun side, not that real estate isn't fun, right? But on the fun side, I do teach a sculpt and flow class 4 times a week at a local yoga studio here. So it's a little tiny bit of yoga, and then in the middle, it's a true HIIT, high intensity interval training class. And then at the end, I stretch you out and cool you down and put you in Shavasana. So I'm a fitness aficionado. Fitness has been a part of my life forever. So it's a lifestyle that I live. Right now, I'm taking it easy due to my car accident a little over a month ago. So I'm limited on what I can do, but I still teach, and I still love
Wow.
to teach. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how you do so many things at the same time. I don't know.
Well, being a real estate agent, being a national coach for NARA, being a fitness instructor, wife, mom,
Oh my God.
I'll be honest with you. You can accomplish everything. It's just some days, let's say, for example, my real estate business may get more today, maybe tomorrow Nart may get more. Maybe, my family's always going to come first. That's for sure. But when it comes to the ebbs and flows, some days are going to I'm going to have to stay more focused on one thing than I am on the other. And on really great days, Luis, I really genuinely accomplish it all. Like today, I think it's going to be one of those days.
Perfect, perfect. That's awesome. All right, Leticia. It was such a pleasure to have you here at Icons of Real Estate. You really have a lot of experience to share, and that is what we're looking. Our audience are trying to, find tricks or find experience from other realtors, successful realtors like you, Leticia.
You. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
it was such a pleasure, and see you in another moment.
Sounds good. Thank you, Luis, for having me.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.
Perfect.